See, I can't help but go back to that uh, starting point. I realize the situations in the Middle East predate George W. Bush's birth, actually. But the war crime committed by Rumsfeld, Cheney, Bush, and the rest of of this crowd of neocons who were running the country for 8 years, that war crime, that invasion, like I mentioned last hour, it completely removes forever the right of the United States, any government, left, right, liberal, conservative, progressive, I don't care what it is, the right to condemn other countries for acts of terror outside its own borders or within its own borders. We don't have that right anymore. We cannot say to other people, you know, what you have just done is immoral and illegal. Oh, we can say it, but the hypocrisy in that and the ridiculousness of that is just stupefying. I mean, you can't even process it. You know, it's like I can't give an analogy or a metaphor. It's just horrible. What we have done, not just in the Middle East, but Southeast Asia is another good example. Central America is another good example. But what we have done removes, like I said, forever whatever cover we might have had because of so-called U.S. exceptionalism. It's gone. It is gone. Were I a country or the leader of a country not the United States, I would question every action the U.S. took. If it concerned me, even peripherally, I would question any agreement that I made with the United States. I would question any treaty that I had with the United States. I would question a current administration's seeming goodwill toward the United States, like we had for Saddam Hussein for so long. There is probably not a European country of any substance, from Germany to France. Well, I guess the Norwegian countries would be out of this. But the major European countries, even down to little old Belgium and always broke Italy and falling apart Portugal and doomed Spain, had imperialist designs all over the planet. The UK goes back 250 years, 300 years. And that's what I mean. If you're going to start the clock on this someplace, you can't start it with 9/11 and the attack in this country. You can't start it with our invasion of Afghanistan or our shock and awe butchery in Iraq. You can't start it with the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. You can't. It's so much more complex than that. And short of leaving all these countries in which we have occupying forces, so to speak, they're not occupiers the way the Israelis occupy Palestinian land, but short of our leaving, pulling out our military involvements with all of these different countries. Do you realize how many countries we are involved with now through AFRICOM, the African Command? Oh boy. But short of pulling everybody out and bringing them home, do you have any solution to this? I guess that would be step one. Step two would be a profound, weeping apology for what imperialist practices and attitudes and results that so many Western countries have imposed on other countries, including mass death and destruction and starvation and poverty and exploitation. And I mean, it just... And on the other hand, maybe that's just the natural order of things, right? There's no way to avoid it. You know, I keep thinking that. I keep thinking that the conversations that I have on this program, or the stuff that I dig up during the day and try to make sense out of for an evening program is an exercise in absolute futility. There are no answers here. There is no rational explanation for anything that we do. I guess the human species is apparently like any other. We have this very thin veneer of civilization behind which we're constantly telling ourselves we're so much better than that group over there, or that group over there, or that species over there, and we're here to exploit because the Bible says we're supposed to. But when you just tap on that veneer just a little bit, the whole goddamn thing just shatters like a pane of glass. And what are we left with? I'm trying desperately not to think that way, because to me that sounds like the thinking of some old bastard who has just developed this huge cynical attitude from having watched the political system and been involved in it to greater or lesser degrees over a long period of his or her life. I don't want to be one of those people who is intent on saying, "Hey, you kids, get off my lawn." You know what I'm saying? But I don't know about you. I don't know how old you are. I know that people listening to this program are outside the 25 to 54 demographic fairly substantially. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. And I know a lot of people listening to this program are well-traveled. They're well-experienced. They have witnessed an enormous chunk of history over the past 30 to 50 years. And I just wonder how other folks don't just fall into that cynical kind of, I don't know, what would you call it, abyss? We'll be right back with your phone calls. Stay with us.